Welcome to the Salmon-Side-Quest, a 3-part series where one side of salmon becomes 3 and maybe even 4 amazing meals for 2. In this first episode, Claire shows us how to cook restaurant-quality salmon fillets with crispy skin and a flavorful cauliflower rice. This whole process should take you no longer than about 90 minutes. Let's get started.
A luxurious portion of fish for me is 6 ounces.
6?
Yeah.
Really?
That's like a luxurious portion,
Okay.
Certainly in a restaurant.
So 36 minus 12 leaves us with...
24.
Hold on. 24 ounces.
Yeah.
You're right.
lot of
Yes,
food.
you're right.
It is a lot of food. I mean, you have to account for the total weight, including the skin there, and the fat that's behind that skin. But we're probably like looking at like 2 pounds. I'd say we're probably going to lose 0.24 on skin, right?
Good call. Yes.
Anyway, so
Well, do what you got to do.
tonight we're going to do a couple of fillets. I'm going to trim the front of the fish to be squared off, and I'm going to take off a bit of the belly so we have little like tight rectangles of fillet. So you can tell like where the belly cuts in, because like first like the fat lines get a little bit thicker. This is a top of the game Atlantic fillet. Atlantic salmon, you know, has earned a reputation of not being like super duper the greatest aquaculture fish.
Yeah, if we could ask our voiceover selves what BAP means, maybe they'll tell us.
Yeah, they will tell us, and what they'll tell us about BAP is that it's an organization that aquaculture endeavors register with to ensure the health and well-being of the fish in their care. Belly off, front off, trimmed off, so it'll make hopefully a pair of very nice fillets. Let's see,
What you got?
15.3. Yeah, so we can look at it, pick it up. It feels pretty the same on both sides, but it is a little wider over here. So we're gonna go a little bit closer over here. And you know, like sometimes one of you gets like a little bit more than the other person, and that's fine. 7.2, 8.1.
Yes.
Let's see what we've got the bigger one down to. 7.2!
Oh!
Belly, our favorite fatty part.
All right, so that's going to turn into salmon cakes, potentially salmon salad.
Salmon salad. So yeah, let me get that wrapped up in some plastic film and back into the refrigerator for another day.
Do it.
So we've got them down, flesh side down, on some paper towels. It's true that we do love a paper towel, and they're effective. You could certainly use tea towels for this if you have an abundance. So we're gonna get like a really good pat. I'm just checking for any remaining scales. There's always gonna be like some scalage. Then we're gonna fold it over underneath to give some more layers below to absorb any, you know, bleed out moisture. And then we're gonna go into the refrigerator for a little while like this, and the fan in the refrigerator is gonna air dry that skin a little bit more for us. My favorite thing about cauliflower is that it's generally sold by the each. So it'll be like whatever price per each. Look at the cauliflowers and decide like what you want to commit to with regard to eating cauliflower. I think this one was like $2.50 for this big old girl. Woo, organic. So we've got most of the outer leaves out. Let's see if we can get a little bit more of that core out. Sometimes you have to get out a smaller petty or paring knife to really get out everything that you're not gonna, doesn't have a chance of getting eaten, right? So we're gonna just get those last little leaflets out. 27.5 ounces. This is gonna be like our primary side tonight, going with some salmon fillets. I'd like to get about a third, and because we're doing ricing, I'm gonna kind of try to focus on getting out as much of that core as I can, so that in the future usages, it'll be mostly florets.
You kind of throw away your money if you buy cauliflower and you don't use it for it.
Honestly.
And this is the way to use it.
I have 8.3 ounces in an effort to like eat the correct amount of vegetables to get the nutrients that we want out of them, and also like simultaneously get the most bang from our produce buck. That's the only reason we're weighing. And what I'm doing here is just kind of like getting everything to around about same size, so that when we pulse it in the food processor in a moment, it will happen quickly and evenly. Swoop.
So the safety switch on this broke, so I hot wired it.
Here we go. Squeaky ball. Super short pulses. Because that long pulse will certainly lead to a lot of like moisture extraction, which doesn't serve you in cauliflower rice. Okay, so let's take a look. We've unplugged it for safety. Actually, we're there. This is great. Little onion onto the celery. Some people have like sensory deals that make them feel some kind of way about celery, and like a great way to like circumvent that and still get the fantastic, really unbeatable freshness that celery offers all meals is to just like do a quick peel on the back. You can feel and see if there's any more of those like firm strings that can sometimes make us not crave celery. And celery's like so good and offers so much to the deal. I just want you to know that like there's a way to circumvent that and still enjoy celery in your food. 378. Let's see. What's my fat? Let's do coconut oil. And we're gonna give that a moment to melt down. There's a lot of stuff that's gonna be going into this, so fear not for the volume. So we're gonna get in there with those seasoning,
Man, that smells good.
veg, and tonight that is a jalapeno, a rib of celery, and one small-ish onion. I don't know if you know this, but the verb sauté means to jump. So you want your oil hot enough that things are jumping. In this case, it's the water being released from the vegetable cells. So when you say sauté, it means hot enough to hurt you. It smells great, and it's a great high temperature fat to cook in. All right, it's almost time to start going in with our spices for the night. We're doing some noble sweet paprika, purple peppercorns, cayenne pepper, and our freshly ground up cauliflower. We're gonna go to the refrigerator and get some of our confit garlic. We're gonna probably do like 4 cloves and the attendant oil. Come over here, get that in there. Go ahead and smash it up. And you know, anytime you add garlic, whether it's like raw or confit like this tonight, it's always got like a pretty low like burn point. So once the garlic goes in, like the clock is ticking. Or, you know, I don't know, like however you'll phrase that for yourselves. But like once that garlic goes in, like you're like within minutes of a transformation. We have some nice like translucence beginning to happen. Temperature is nice, strong moisture coming out over here. So we know we can add a little bit of liquid. We're adding some of our house chicken stock, probably a half cup. Allow like your feelings of the evening to get that going for you.
Feelings of the Evening is gonna be my new album.
We're gonna let the rest of the stock reduce out until we get to a pretty dry result. Let's get those salmon fillets out. I want you to feel the skin. It's feeling so nice and dry. Get some fat in the pan, our garlic oil. They seize up pretty immediately on account of cold and hot. Probably about 1.25 teaspoons. And then, you know, it's like we're going in with some purple peppercorns, black peppercorns, cherries, whatever you've got, or just ground pepper. Going to use the newly mixed Zanzibar and white pepper. And that's exactly enough time to come over here and hit our first spin around on our beautiful, fragrant cauliflower rice. I'm just going to tell you now that if you've been correctly lightly salting along with me, that it's time for another light salting. And you can achieve that really just by like, when I say light salting, it just means like get a little bit kind of all the way across whatever your cooking surface is. We can look over here and see the fat starting to render really well on the side. I see that like a release point is already met, and I'm still going to wait to flip. I would like to see up to like mid-rare from the skin, because I think that'll give us a better fat rendering. One thing you can do is just kind of like tilt that skillet and get the fat kind of moving around. That'll help kind of keep the heat steady. And then we can go back to our cauliflower rice. It's starting to fry up really nicely. And I still have it on quite a high fire. I am gonna add in a little bit of chicken stock. The salmon is smelling so nice. I can tell from the depth of smell that it's about time to give it a turn. We're gonna come over here, give a good little stir. Make sure that chicken stock is reducing evenly. You come over here and take a look. We are so at rare. Rare. Move that fat around. Probably gonna be going for about a mid-rare medium. So let's get some parsley ready for the garnish. And a great way to get a good cut. You know, like we could absolutely lay our leaves, leaf upon leaf upon leaf, or you can kind of just bunch them up. Scrunch them. Try and cut as narrowly as possible across this axis. Always remembering to keep your non-cutting hand out of the way. And then we'll turn it this way. Bunch it up again. you know, again, like, unless you have somebody barking over your shoulder, you're the master of this part. And just hit like a 180 cut on your parsley. And if your knife is effectively sharp, you will not have left green behind.
Right.
If you've left green behind here, see about getting your knife sharpened. I think I'm going to hit that salmon with just a tiny spudge of chicken stock, and that is going to effect a rush of steam. And because it's chicken stock, it'll be flavored steam. And that's going to kind of give me the finish I'm looking for on the outside, which is nice and juicy. There we go. Now it's time to get to plating.